Today we're going to be reading I Need My Monster. I Need My Monster. Tonight when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing, back in a week. Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrabbling of his uncut nails. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar scary noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under my covers. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he look like? Would his snorting be as cheerful as Gabe's? So good readers do something called prediction. Thumbs up if you've ever heard of the word prediction. Okay. So we're going to make a prediction about what's going to happen next. So I want you to think about if a new monster might appear, if someone's going to take place of Gabe, and think about what might happen. Okay, so go ahead and talk to your neighbor about something you think will happen next in the story. When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived. "Good evening," said a low, breathy voice. "My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening." "Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound scary at all. Have you ever even seen a kid before?" "Well, no, but I have read all the best books on the topic." "Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws?" I asked. "No, but I have an overbite, and I'm a mouth breather. Listen." Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. "Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws." "Picky, picky," Herbert complained. "As you wish, I'll go." There was some more creaking, and then Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared. "Good evening," he said in a high, silky voice. "My name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over, I will hold out an arm for inspection." I crouched on the edge of the bed, hoping to see a horribly shagged arm with sharp, ragged nails. Ooh, look at those words like shagged and ragged. Instead, I was surprised to see sleeky brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude," I asked, "but is that nail polish on your claws?" "Yes, it is," Ralph replied. "I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed." "That's silly, a monster with some painted nails." I could tell that this was not going to work either. "I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws." Like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching, and I knew Ralph was gone. The boy is being quite picky about the monsters. Why do you think that is, and how do you think he's feeling right now? I want you to go ahead and turn to your partner and think about and talk about how you think the boy is feeling right now. A minute later, a third voice from under the bed rasped, "Check out these claws, kid." I gathered my courage and I peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged and dark and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little nervous. "Could you stick out your tail?" I whispered. "Sure, but don't get too scared." I want us to, in a moment, when I'm done speaking, close our eyes and we're going to make a picture in our head because good readers try to picture what they're seeing. And I want you to think about what you predict, that word predict we talked about earlier, this monster might look like. So we see his or her claw, and now close your eyes and think, what is this monster going to look like? I see a big yellow monster. I see super furry. I see him have more than 2 eyes. What do you see? I want you to think about what you see. I peeked through my fingers at the slime's tail slithering over the foot of my bed, and that's when I noticed the bow. Are you a girl monster? Of course I am, she snapped. I'm Cynthia, and do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do, I admitted. I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys, and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that. Well, aren't you a picky one, she sniffed, and then she was gone. Here's Cynthia. Was I being too picky? No. I knew that my monster needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all of the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. So let's do a quick review of the monsters we've met so far. So far, we've met 3 monsters that have come to the boys' room. So I want us to review, and just raise your hand if you know a name or recall a name of a monster we've met before. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbering. A 4th monster was under my bed. Hey, the name's Mac. One look at this claw proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. I shivered. Maybe this one would work out. Those are excellent claws, but do you have a long tail? I leaned over to see. No, my tail is stumpy. Max slurped, but I do have an unusually long tongue. Why would you be afraid of a long tongue, I asked. Oh, I don't know, he said, trying to sound terrifying. You never know when I might lick you. I fell back on the bed, laughing. Well, if you're not even going to try to work with me, Mac whined. I held in my giggles. I really don't think you should send me away, he warned. Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night. I did not reject 5 monsters tonight, I interrupted. My regular monster went fishing. Fishing, eh? Maybe he just left because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here, but I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you. So far we've met Herbert, Ralph, Cynthia, and Mac. So we met 4 monsters, and then Gabe is the original monster. So let's talk about who our favorites are so far. So I want you to turn and talk with your neighbor and just tell them who your favorite monster was and why. How was I ever going to get sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight, I said. Sorry I'm late, kid. Whoa, it was Gabe. I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't, he explained. Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are challenging. My friend, you're almost too old to be afraid of monsters. You keep me on my toes. Ah, toes, a delicious snack. The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of the bed, and green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Gabe looks like a big, scary monster, doesn't he? Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his spiky tail, and he was daring me to guess where he might pop up. I shivered. So, you had some substitute monsters tonight, Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost. Were you scared? Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I still needed him. Sure is spooky looking. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled, diving under my covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts. Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other, he growled. So I want you to think about how the boy felt in the beginning of the story and how he feels now and how that has changed. So go ahead and turn and talk with your neighbor about how the boy's feelings have changed throughout the book. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat. Now, if you could please stick out your foot, he said. I'd like to nibble on your pinky. I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, pushing my pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. I'd be asleep in no time. I need my monster.